There's a quote, which is a sort of a William Blake quote, which is, "I must invent a system or be enslaved by someone else's." And I very much believe in inventing my own systems because I don't want to listen to anybody else. I don't like authority.
Give me hard one. I mean, skateboarding is kind of a little bit of punk rock kind of sport. Yeah, startups are the punk rock of business. You go out to disrupt an industry or do something great.
I ended up joining right after school a company was headquartered in San Francisco. And so by joining a company that was based kind of out here in Silicon Valley or the SF Bay Area allowed me to just work with a lot of technologists and a lot of interesting platforms that probably would have been harder to find at other sort of Michigan companies that weren't as plugged into the Valley.
Before I moved out here, I said, I'm not moving to San Francisco. It's so cliche to move out there as an entrepreneur. Everyone goes out there. But there's a reason. There's a reason that people move out here when they're young and hungry and they want to change the world.
You're biking by the headquarters where Adobe Photoshop is made, or like, where Facebook is created, or all these sorts of things. There was just such a high level of density here. There were great people in Michigan, but they were just like so much more tightly compressed out here, where so many people were focused on designing and building the next thing.
I think in terms of unique challenges to this company and things that we've faced, one of the biggest ones is being to figure out how we do it all here in Michigan.
I think a newspaper headline when I first moved here was, "Detroit, America's most miserable city," or something. And I'm like we're sitting in these bubble chairs, and you're like, that's not the reality.
Like, it's not like in San Francisco where you go out, walk outside to run into like a venture capitalist or other developers. But when you're in the spaces, like you're in the Madison building or the Madison block, you really get that sense of community.
People are approachable. There's a Midwest helpfulness, which I think does translate actually to a lot of the dynamic we have enjoying the Valley of people paying it forward and trying to help each other out.
It really wasn't a question for me to go move to San Francisco and start a company because I'd have no access to any of those networks there or support. In Detroit, I really had that support to grow it.
I call Detroit the city of makers. I have friends out here that are making skateboards out of their garage. I have other friends that are creating, the product of the future, in their basement.
Anyone can come in here and have the opportunity to just define themselves like that. If you work really hard and you make a successful product, you can have such a huge impact on the culture.
Maybe now that we've hit rock bottom, we are starting to see like bigger ideas and bigger initiatives happen. I'd like to see, again, hopefully a shift in the culture and the community where we're not so afraid to try big things, to see them work or see them fail, but to learn together how we should move forward.
I think it's because Michigan is so focused on trying to make Michigan look good that they don't want to look bad. If they're real and they're honest, I think that might actually attract people more, but it's scary to do because it may not make you look perfect, right? But everyone knows it's not perfect, but no one knows what the bad things of Michigan are because they don't talk about them. And I think that's one of the things that Michigan can learn from the Bay Area is to really be honest about where the challenges are and open up the doors for people to come in and say, oh, I can help you with that challenge.